Hey everybody out there in the internet world, and welcome to another Dark Avengers comic book review. Not really much going on this week in comic books. However, Marvel has announced a lot of stuff where it comes to their digital comics. As I said in the Avengers log, which this is taking place after the Avengers log, big things coming for this channel, enough said. Three things have been announced from Marvel digital line-wise. I don't even know what to call it. I mentioned the $3.99 comics are all going to be getting their free digital download codes. And I mentioned about the DC Comics Infinity Comics thing where it's going to be strictly digital comics. Recently added today was AR Comics. Augmented Reality Comics, for those of you who don't know what AR is, but I highly doubt all of you out there don't know what AR means by now, especially if you have a 3DS. The first comic to introduce AR is going to be Avengers vs. X-Men #1, which is also coming with a free digital download code. So it's going to be interesting for those of you getting Avengers vs. X-Men #1. You're going to be in for a huge treat. You're going to be the first ones to try out the AR. I'm going to be one of the first people to try out the AR also, because I am getting Avengers vs. X-Men 1. So something to look forward to next month, I guess. I'm not really big on the digital stuff. As I said, I will not pay the exact same price for a comic book that I could pay the exact same price for in print. If the comics were cheaper, like maybe 99 cents, $2, because they're digital, as opposed to the $2.99, $3.99, I might. But I agree with a lot of people who said I'm not paying the exact same amount of money for a print copy for a digital copy. It makes no sense and it's retarded. But you know, Marvel has to make their money. So anyway, we are doing comic books released on the week of March 7, 2012. We are in a new month. It's a new fresh month. We got a couple of #1s, one that's staying, one that's probably going, and basically the big two. There's only one from any kind of a indie company this week, and it's from Vertigo. Fabled #1 with a, hold on Mike, wrap cover. That's the first thing I want to mention about this comic. And then secondly, if you look at the paper is not like the comics of nowadays. Nowadays we have the smooth paper. The paper they use for Fables is the kind of paper they used back in the 90s. You can tell the difference, I'm sure, with the lighting especially. So just wanted to throw that out there. Artwork in this book is awesome. The prince in this book, the prince, so to speak, is Alibaba. Thrown into a world where he doesn't know how he got there. He opens up a bottle. You think it's a genie in a lamp. It's not. It's a, oh god, what's he called? He says it in the dang beginning of the comic. A bottle imp. And he's hilarity in the whole comic book. Artwork is just astoundingly beautiful. Kissing the princess to wake her up kind of thing happens. There's a lot of interesting stuff. This is from the pages of Fable. Once again, I wish I could have gotten into Fables years ago. I have the first two trade paperbacks. I read both. I read the first one, most of the second one. Got so many trade paperbacks I'm reading. And I really wish I would have gotten into this a lot sooner, so I wouldn't have to go so far back to get all the trade paperbacks. It's really good. I'm absolutely picking this up. I'm not going to say too much on this. Why? Because I have somebody else in the future who might be interested in reviewing this, and I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to give away too much, so she'll have something to talk about. But for those of you who are Fable fans, for those of you who like princesses and whatnot, something different from the superhero world, this is definitely for you. I like it. Artwork and story together, I would absolutely recommend it. I'd say check it out. I'll be getting the next issue because it's that good. Hopefully they'll be doing wraparound covers. I'm a crazy person for wraparound covers. Next, a book I got because it was a very light week, and I said if it was a light week I'd get it. Age of Apocalypse #1. I tried to get into the story. The more I read, the less interested I was. I guess it's because it's very hard for me to see Wolverine as like an apocalypse. And the very end of this book, and this is just to be nitpicky, to be honest, it's not really why I'm not getting the next issue. Somebody who was supposed to be dead isn't dead, and it's a person I hate, so yeah, that kind of was a little bit of a letdown, kind of upset, so to speak. Artwork is alright. I wouldn't say it's like top-notch artwork, but it's not bad either. There you go. It's alright artwork. It's not that good. It's not that bad. I think it's by De La Torre, if I'm not mistaken. Artist Roberto De La Torre. Really didn't get too into it. This is one of those books, this is the only book this week where I tried to read it to understand it, and I guess it's just not my cup of tea. I mean, as much as I'd like to say I liked it, I thought there were certain parts that were good, certain parts that were okay. It takes place after the .1 from Uncanny X-Force. I don't know. I might come back for number 2 to give it one more shot, because I feel like this book has potential, especially with Wolverine getting the Horsemen back together, because now he wants to take out Jean and her crew who saved the humans. But I'm not sure. I'm 50-50, so you might or might not see the second issue next month. We'll just see what comes out, you know, because there's a lot of new books coming out from both DC and Marvel, miniseries and ongoing series-wise. So if something does not grab me and hold on to me like there's no tomorrow, it ain't staying. Venom number 14, concluding the Circle of Four, concluding the story and ending it once and for all. As I said in the last issue, Ghost Rider, Alejandra betrays the pack people, the people, Venom and Hulk and X-23, and tells Blackheart everything. So she turns on her friends. I want to call them her friends, but they're not her friends. And then I want to call them her teammates, but they're not her teammates. So they're people. I wish I would have thought of this before I started this review, so I didn't look like a stuttering idiot for the past 5 minutes. So anyway, Red Hulk borrowed Flash Thompson's Venom symbiote, and they bonded with, and both that bonded with the Spirit of Vengeance, which is Ghost Rider. So you got a mix of Red Hulk with Ghost Rider and Venom attached to him, which is pretty badass. You get to see him beat the crap out of Blackheart for a while. X-23 is setting up where Johnny Blaze is to turn the tide, so to speak, to turn the thing around to suck back hell. Alejandra's still and she tries to screw Flash Thompson. She does for a moment, and it doesn't stick. He actually finds he pulls through in the end. And then what really pisses me off is in the very end, instead of Johnny Blaze getting the Ghost Rider, the Spirit of Vengeance put back into him, Alejandra gets it and runs off. And that's basically where she goes. Then, of course, who didn't see this coming? The Avengers show up. Red Hulk vouches for Venom, and it leads into the stuff that we already know or knew was going to happen in the Avenger books. Also, they're all marked by Mephisto for a future story arc. Funny ending. Next issue is about Venom being an Avenger. It actually says Venom Avenger. I'm glad this story's over. It was okay. If anything, it's a good setup for whatever future story they're doing. Hopefully it'll be a lot better than this one. I hate Alejandra. I hate the fact that at some point she's going to have to come back and team up with the other three again. I think the story in total, 13.1, 2, 3, 4, and 14, I'd say it's worth the pickup and trade just to see the story and to see what the future story arc is going to be. That's going to develop like later on in Venom, probably next year, maybe 2 years from now. You never know with Marvel. They can hold a story for 3 and 4 years. Whenever, eventually this story is going to happen, where they're going to do a thing from Mephisto. And hopefully it's not with Spider-Man. I have a feeling it might be with Spider-Man. Who knows? But at some point they're going to have to do Mephisto a favor. And we'll see what that exactly is. Next up, we have actually 2 X-Men books. First one is Wolverine and the X-Men Alpha and Omega, Part 3 of 5. Quentin Quire finally realizes it was a mistake what he did. We have the Berserker running around because Wolverine's trapped in his mind with armor. And the artwork is different. And I'm going to explain how it's different when Mike's done. Okay. In the dream, in Wolverine's mind, the artwork looks like this in his mind, and that's great artwork, awesome artwork. Outside of the mind, and when you get into reality, the artwork looks like this. Yeah. Reading through this book, I read through the reality to get back to Wolverine's mind, because apparently Wolverine's mind has a better artist than the reality of yeah, it's just, I couldn't, the way certain things are drawn just didn't captivate me. However, the book was really, really good. Rachel's trying to reach out to the Berserker. She doesn't know that Quentin Quire is actually has Wolverine and armor trapped in Wolverine's mind. And actually, Quentin Quire goes into the game. I think he's going in to save them, I believe. Because he doesn't know if he can get them out, or something like that. So he's becoming part of the simulation that he started. Because he realized he made a mistake and that everything that everybody said about him was true. Or he's making it look that way anyway. Really good. If you haven't gotten this by now, it's in the 3rd issue. There's 2 more to go. I'd say wait and pick it up and trade. If you don't want to wait, there's 2 issues before this one. Get all 3. It's a really good miniseries. One of the best out of all the X bunches. Once again, I believe Cyclops' side is doing the X Club. Wolverine's doing Alpha Omega. Wolverine's winning. I wonder why. Speaking of Wolverine, Wolverine 302 with a beautiful cover. Wow, finally, away from all that like dark covers and silly covers. There were some good covers in between, and there were some good covers recently, but this one is, in my opinion, this feels like a Wolverine comic now. This cover makes it feel like a Wolverine comic. So there's some type of hallucinogen that's thrown at Wolverine, and he's hallucinating that he's back in hell, so to speak. And while he's fighting in his mind, I forgot her name. She's fighting in reality, and I believe it's the same art. Yeah, it's the same artwork all around. So he believes he's in hell again, and oh boy. And Sabretooth and oh god, why is her name? Mystique. Basically shoot him in the face, and yeah, you can get. He's a healer, so you know he's gonna heal through it. But yeah, the whole Sabretooth Mystique thing is kind of getting creepy. And then basically Wolverine works through the hallucinogen, so to speak, whereas his daughter's going after Silver Samurai, whom at first you think is there. He broke free. Wolverine breaks out of the hallucinogen. Amiko, thank you. And him and Amiko have a moment, but in the end it wasn't Amiko. I'm not going to spoil what I mean by that. You're just going to have to find out. Silver Samurai leads the Hand in Tokyo to his family fortune, and Wolverine is, yeah, let's just say Wolverine somewhere, and the word Lady Deathstrike comes up towards the end, to be continued. Looking forward to the final part. The next issue is the final part to this story arc. Looks really, really good. Highly, highly, highly recommend getting this comic. Highly recommend it. Another comic I highly recommend you guys check out, Winter Soldier #3. Sleeper Agents Awake. He didn't know that the Cold War was over. When he finds this out, the guy that's controlling him says, "Don't worry, the Americans just want to believe they won, but they really haven't." Artwork is same as in the last 2 issues, really beautiful. Turns out the plan is kind of unmasked, and the woman with the cybernetic part on her eye, her name is, and it was mentioned, I skipped the page by accident, Lucia von Bardas, and Nick Fury talks of a few stories of her. Then it jumps to her with the Doombot. Beautiful artwork, wonderful artwork, definitely one of the top books from Marvel this week. Bucky and Black Widow go to Victor Von Doom. They sneak in because they're going in to talk with Victor Von Doom. They want to help. They need his help. And it turns out that the Doombot that they're controlling is actually, it's going somewhere. And spoiler alert here, it's to be continued. The Doombot is about to wreak havoc on the UN. To be continued. First story arc, really good. Victor Von Doom and his Doombot. So yeah, there's a plot. This is a plot to get back at Doom and take out a lot of people at the same time. So I would highly recommend checking this book out. I did not have high hopes for this book. Ed Brubaker, he once again pulls this out, and he does such a great job. I would highly recommend you check this book out. Really good. Really, really good. And third really good book this week and final from Marvel, The Amazing Spider-Man 681, concluding the Spidey in Space and leading into At World's Ends of the Earth or whatever. I'll remember the title as we go through the book. So, long story short, Spidey, Human Torch, John Jameson trapped on the space station. They have to figure out a way to save the crew and get off the space station and get back to Earth. A lot of stuff happens in between. I don't want to spoil it. You guys really just have to read it. It's a lot involved. Let's just say magnetic webbing helps a lot. They actually cut the oxygen in the satellite to knock out all the crew, which knocks out the Octobots. Doc Ock actually tries to bring down the station, which is how they actually find an escape, like not an escape pod. What was it? A deprivation chamber, and they hold up there. Human Torch helps guide them down, and yeah, Ends of the Earth is next. I am going to spoil it by showing the last page because that's an epic last page, leading into the big story arc, and also they give you a rundown of all the covers except the final cover for World's End, in the very end. So let me give you some internal artwork though. Those of you guys saw the preview, saw this. Let's see. There you go, some good internal artwork. Really good. Amazing Spider-Man has been top-notch. Also, advertisement Ultimate Spider-Man is coming to Disney XD. I'm going to be definitely looking into that. It's coming on Sunday, April 1st at 11 o'clock. So, looking forward to that. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully they didn't put the mole back on. I don't think they put a mole on him. So, Amazing Spider-Man, really awesome. With that, we're leaving Marvel and going into DC Comics with their new logo on the covers. Batman Detective Comics #7 has officially put the comic book on the line. The next issue is a new story arc and is going to either make or break the series for me. Main focus is on Penguin. There was a huge plan. He wanted to wipe out the small fry people that come to Gotham, who believe that he's going to hold on to their money and they're going to be partners. Really, he's just going to steal their money. Batman gets the girl out, of course. Great artwork. I will say it's great artwork. Absolutely, positively. No ifs, ands, or buts. Batman shows up to save the woman, sort of, kind of. Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on in between. Penguin turns on the woman who knew. And yeah, the ending I won't spoil, but it was okay. It was okay, but to be honest, everybody gets betrayed in the end except the Penguin. The Penguin basically set this entire elaborate thing up. Only Batman interfered and things went haywire. That's a sum up of the past 2 or 3 issues. Make or break it. It's at that point. The next issue is going to make or break Detective Comics for me. Artwork's great. The story is alright. It's predictable. Yeah, maybe it's because it's Penguin. I was expecting for them to finish up the whole Joker's face being torn off thing, but apparently we have to wait a while. We'll see in the next issue. Next issue is called Scare Tactics. We'll see what happens there. Maybe we'll get more in depth with Joker. Another issue. The next issue is going to make or break it. Issue 7 of Red Lantern. Guy Gardner versus the Red Lantern. The new Red Lantern. Human Red Lantern. Apparently this Human Red Lantern has a bit of control over the influence of the Red Ring, which I don't know if that's a good or bad. You don't know if that's a good or bad thing yet. You've seen the previews, guys, so I don't want to give you guys a preview. Let's give you guys something different. I like the artwork. I love the artwork, and if I don't continue this series, I hope this artist goes somewhere where I am reading. Bleez has taken control of the Red Lanterns, well, most of them anyway, but even the people that she goes up against looking for revenge for the people that that have done wrong to others, yeah, in the end, even they know. Here's a splash page of it, the splash page of the intro. Even the people they take captive to destroy know that Bleez is not as strong as Atrocitus, and when Atrocitus gets his back to full power, he's going to extinguish Bleez if she doesn't watch herself. So that's that story. And then the Red Lantern leaves Earth, the Earth Red Lantern, and he heads towards Yasmin. While on Yasmin, Atrocitus is still chasing after who he believes is Krona. Turns out it's not Krona, and I'm not going to spoil who it is. Am I? You really don't know who it is per se. You believe it's his son. It's this thing. I don't know what that is really. Atrocitus is fighting it. The human Red Lantern lands, distracts Krona. He gets stabbed in the heart, and the next thing is they're going after the human Red Lantern. Here's the thing. I know what's going to happen next, and the only reason I'm going to spoil it is because everybody who's read Green Lantern knows that the Red Lantern ring becomes the Red Lantern's heart. The heart no longer beats once the Red Lantern ring's on. That's why you can't take the Red Lantern ring off. If you take it off, the person will die. The heart is in the ring. Atrocitus was stabbed in the heart, but his heart doesn't beat anymore. His heart is his ring. You know he's going to wake up at the beginning of the next issue. There's no way he's not. Just saying. So for those of you who are like, oh my god, they killed Atrocitus, there goes the whole series. No. Don't worry. For those of you who've read Green Lantern for the past 4 or 5 years, you should know that hearts on the Red Lanterns don't beat anymore. Their heart beats in their red ring. So that's why I say whatever happens in the next issue is going to make or break it for me. So 2 comic books are on the line. Detective and Red Lantern. As far as the new comics coming out, I will be getting World's Finest because I'll mention why in a little bit. I will be checking out Batman Inc. because everybody's been talking about it for so long that if I don't check it out, I feel like I have to because everybody's talking about it. And I'm going to probably check out Earth 2 just for the hell of it, just to see what's going on Earth 2. Everything else is forget it. So if I drop those 2, it'll probably replace those 2. Justice League International number 7, this issue can be summed up in this. The explosion killed a bunch of people and hurt a bunch of other people. And it's up to Booster Gold, Batman, and Guy Gardner, the only people that really weren't hurt as badly as everybody else, to find out who did this and stop them from doing it again. Whereas the plan was to destroy and dismantle the JLI, and basically the UN spokeswoman towards the end of the book comes in and says, we are cease and desisting any JLI stuff. You are not allowed to be the JLI anymore, etc., etc. And Booster Gold gets pissed off, walks off. New villain shows up, and to be continued. Dan Jurgens is doing an amazing job in this book. I hope he stays on it for a very long time because I love the direction JLI is going, as opposed to the Justice League, which I'm 50-50 on right now. JLI is doing really, really good. The only bad thing is who shows up at the end. Because the JLI, most of the team has been hurt or taken out or whatever, and they're not going to be able to work. They're not going to be able to do anything for a while. Broken bones and all. So I have a feeling in the next issue, not the next issue, the issue after that, there's going to be a new team. And if the character that shows up at the end of this book is on it, along with some other characters I don't like, I'm probably going to drop it then. But for the time being, I hope I'm wrong. And, yeah. So I'm trying to find a good page where there's good artwork. This page is good enough. Wonderful artwork. Good artwork. Completely. But yeah, everybody got taken out. Oh, except Godiva also. Godiva's pretty okay as well. And General, whatever his name is, General Iron, General Master of Iron. He's from the Wildstorm universe. What the heck do I know his name? Oh, August General. The August General. Really good. Looking forward to the next issue. Just hope they don't change the team. I really like the lineup of this team. And you know the people that died, you know at least one of the people that died is not going to stay dead, especially because of what happened in the issue before this with that character. That person's definitely got to come back. But really good. Highly recommend it. Awesome, awesome book. Just please, if you're watching this, Dan Jurgens, don't change the team. I like this team. It's such a perfect lineup. I hope that they all stick. I just hope that other guy doesn't join. Huntress number 6 ended beautifully. Ended beautifully. She got to the higher ups and made a very good threat. She has now she has a bounty on her head, and when she gets to the guy, he's like, I'll drop the bounty, I won't do anything anymore, I'll stop it, I'll save these people, whatever. And she says, okay, that's fine. You don't have to lift the bounty, though. I like the challenge. She said, and if anything, donate money to helping people and whatnot, and yeah, we'll be square and whatever. I just loved it. The reason I'm giving away the ending is because at the very end, I think it's going to lead into a future story arc. We have Power Girl finally showing her face for the first time in the new DCU. And it all leads into World's Finest. Power Girl talked about it's been a year. So apparently they're already, Huntress and Power Girl are already in the regular new DCU. They've already left the Earth 2 DCU and they're in the regular one now. So I'm guessing World's Finest #1 will be a prequel or something that happened before this, and then they came to the Earth, and then issue 2 will probably be more along the lines of what happens a year later. So really good miniseries. This is coming out in trade paperback really soon. I'm pretty sure it is. Check this out. I'm going to be checking out World's Finest #1 because I loved Huntress, and granted I'm not a huge fan of Power Girl, but you know what? I'm going to give it a chance for Huntress alone. Really good miniseries, really good. I left a lot of stuff out in here on purpose. You got to check it out for yourself. That good. Now, not one of these can go without the other. First off is Animal Man #1. The Rot is very, very, very little in this. It's all along the lines of coping with what's been going on, preparing, thinking what they're going to do next. The Rot really does not show their face much at all in this book. Very little happens in this book when it comes to the Rot. In this book, it's all about the Rot coming to them and them preparing for it. Then the whole cover thing, it's all a dream. Buddy Baxter's dream, and it's amazing. Swamp Thing and everybody else is already in it, and it's like, this is the future because you couldn't protect Maxine. And that's like, whoa. So it's a possible foresight. Nobody really knows. And then the Rot shows up at the very end, and to be continued. Really good. It's really just leading up, like, everybody coping with what's happened from issue 1 to issue 5. Issue 6, once again, was that little break, and then this is continuing the story, but basically just relaxing. They're relaxing and figuring out what's going to happen next. They're on a road trip, basically. They're just going to be traveling for a while, at least. I guess they're going to be seeking out Swamp Thing, because that's what the Avatar wants them to do. And, yeah, so that's Animal Man. Finally, Swamp Thing, with the green. The whole book is Alec Holland with the green discussing with the Parliament of Trees how he wants for them to turn him, and they're like, we can't, we've lost all our power, there's nothing we could do now for you. And he's like, and they're explaining to him, if you weren't with that witch, you would, and if you would have decided sooner, you were too afraid. He's like, I wasn't too afraid, I didn't want to do it. The artwork and everything like that on the inside, though, is beautiful. I'll show towards the end. So basically, after a long discussion with the Parliament of Trees, he decides they use the canister, which is that oozy thing I see, Michael, and as I said, as I predicted, in the end, Swamp Thing, to be continued, finally. Awesome book. So Swamp Thing's back. Alec Holland finally accepted his destiny. We're at 28 minutes. I'm not going to go into a part 2. Awesome. Awesome. Check both of them out. Really good. Get it in trade if you didn't get it right along. Justice League 7. Awesome. On the fence is Red Lantern Corps and Batman Detective Comics 7. Amazing Spider-Man 681. Awesome. Winter Soldier 3. Awesome. Wolverine 302. Great. Wolverine and the X-Men Alpha and Omega. Great. Number 3. Venom 14. It's finally over. Age of Apocalypse 1. I highly doubt I'm getting the next issue. And Fariest #1. Awesome. I would highly recommend you check that out. Sorry for the speed ending, but I don't want to get cut off. We're at what?
29 minutes on the dot.
29 minutes on the dot. Camera's going to go out in another minute. Highly recommend these 2 books from DC. And you know how I feel about DC, guys. But finally, after 7 issues, Swamp Thing. After a long discussion. This whole book is a discussion that leads into Swamp Thing in the end. With the canister, just like in the movie. Take care, everybody. Keep reading. I'll see you guys next week for another Dark Avenger comic book review. And soon in another video. Take care, everybody.